Hello everyone, this is Gayle, and I hope you don't mind watching me play today. I wanted to show you what I've gotten. I'm sure most of you, if you watch polymer clay videos on Facebook or following a part of any of the Facebook groups, you have seen the SugarVeil molds. I've seen them and never really did much with them, and I have been communicating with Beth Sullivan, who is also a polymer clay artist, and she's been doing lots of experiments, so please look her up on Facebook. It's just under her name, Beth Sullivan, and she's been doing a lot of experimentations with these, so she's got me hooked. So I was looking for the SugarVeil mats, and these are mats that are designed for fondant and thin icing to decorate. Like these are for cupcakes. You know, these are mats. But I like this one because this looks like a sunflower, and I think I could do something with that sunflower. But I was looking at them individually, and they were pretty expensive. So I found a kit on Amazon, and I put them in my Amazon store, and they came the other day, and I'm finally going to get to play with them. Of course, it comes with instructions on how to use it with icing. Of course, we're not going to use icing. But it also came with a complimentary package of icing mix. So I guess one of these days when I really feel like I want to do something, get decadent or something, I will, let's see, 3/4 of a teaspoon is 5 calories. That's not bad. 1 gram of sugar. Okay, so it's not that bad. So one day I may just make some of this to play with, but I wanted to show you the 4 mats that I got, and I'm going to go ahead and take them out of their package because I don't really need the package because, like I said, the instructions on them are for icing. But this one was called Flowers. I hope you can see it. This is the sunflower. There's 2 of them. It looks like maybe this would be like a zinnia or I'm trying to think of what the little flower is. But anyway, so you've got these 2, and it says here at the top, maximum temperature 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 centigrade. So, you know, these will go in the oven. So there's the one that's the flowers. And I'm not going to keep all these things that come with it because I don't really need all that. If you're lucky enough to be near a Michael's that still has these, Michael's has put these on clearance. My Michael's was already done. But this one is called Medallions. And I like this because you can take maybe the center of this one, you know, make this into a pendant and take the center of that one to make earrings out of. Of course, it came with the set. So that's Medallions. And this one is really going to be fun to play with. It's the hearts. See, there's the hearts. This one has little bitty hearts inside of it. This one is more of a hash type design. And this one has just different designs, and then that one's more of a swirl. So that one's going to be fun to try. And this one is my favorite, and this is the one that Beth has been playing with the most. And I don't want to copy her, and I'm probably going to do this entirely different than she does. But look at these leaves. I just love these leaves. I'm a leaf person. If you've been to my house in Florida, the whole house was decorated with leaf motif. But look at those. Aren't they gorgeous? And I have heard that people have done, what is it called? I can't think of it right now. but I'm going to use liquid clay on these. And I've got different kinds. I have some Sculpey Pearl, some Sculpey Gold, some Kato colored liquid polymer clay in black, and then the clear liquid polymer clay. And I'm just going to play. And what I'll tell you, Beth uses a lot of mica powders, and hers turn out just gorgeous. So I think I'm going to start mainly just by using these four clays just to see which ones I'm going to. Hi everyone, this is Gayle. I just wanted to let you know, that this month's video is not a finished project. It is a technique that I wanted to learn, and since I don't have a lot of extra time to just play, I decided I would let you play with me. So hope you enjoy this and have fun. I'll see you again next month. So I'm going to do 2 leaves in, well, I've got 4 different clays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just squirt some black on here. I have no idea how much I need. I've never done this before, and I'm just going to use, this is my old AARP card. But it's similar to silkscreen in that you're going to use this card to distribute the clay through the design. And let me go ahead and do one of the others. Let me do the leaf, this little leaf in black, because I've got plenty on here. So I used way too much liquid clay, so don't do that. And then just take your credit card or AARP card or whatever you happen to have and go over it and remove as much of this as you can, because you don't want a lot of excess. And I think I moved my baby wipes downstairs with my other polymer clay stuff. So let me just get a paper towel. I'll get a clean one. And some alcohol. Now, I'm not going to spray the mat because too much alcohol could probably damage it. But I'm just going to wipe the excess off. And after this bakes, I will clean off the excess a little bit better. I would think the alcohol might dry this out a little bit, so I would be sparingly if you're using that, but a baby wipe would probably work fine. And I'll have to go down in the basement and get my baby wipes. I'll be so glad when I get to move. But anyway, so that's going to be the black. And these I'm not going to use anything other than just the clay itself. So let me see, this is the gold. So since I've got this side messed up, oops. Guess I ought to check it to make sure. Maybe this needs to be stirred up. Every once in a while your liquid clay needs to be stirred up. Don't shake it or you'll end up with a bunch of bubbles. But every once in a while you need to stir it because the plasticizer sometimes will separate. And I think that's what happened there. And you know, I'll probably have enough of this on this dowel. I wouldn't normally do this, but since it's there, And I'll try doing the same thing with the gold that I did with the black. I'm just going to make sure it gets down in the design. And then I'm going to scrape it off. Whoops, I got some on the black. Well, that's all right. That might make it pretty. Although the black is on the bottom, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. And I did get some in this one. Actually, I'm going to leave that gold there and put some of the Sculpey Pearl. And I'll go ahead and stir this before I even get started, just to make sure. I haven't used this. I've heard some good things about the Sculpey Pearl liquid clay. So I'm hoping this will. And again, I think I'm just going to put the leftover from here on my mat. And let's see what happens. May as well do the big one too, since I've got all this here. You can see a little bit goes a long way. Okay, so I've used the black. I didn't get much of the gold done. Let me do another one in gold. Maybe this one, since it's got gold on it anyway. This is normally the way I would do it, is squirt a little bit down the center. And then just go from there. See there, I didn't get quite enough. So all I need to do is just add a little bit more. Okay. And then the other one is just the plain liquid clay, and this is going to be liquid poly clay, the clear. And I'm just going to put a little bit on each one. I mainly just want to see how clear this bakes. And then after I check these out, I'm going to do some in with mica powders and see if mine turn out as neat as Beth's did. Okay, I'm just going to clean up my mat a little bit. And I think I'm going to use a Q-tip to go down here, get the excess liquid clay off. See, that's got a little bit of a hole in it. There we go. I got it. So I'm going to bake these. I think I'm only going to bake them maybe a half an hour. And then I'll be back and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, I went to put these in my leaves in the oven and remembered, I very seldom ever use it, but I have a second shelf that's in my oven, so I'm going to go ahead and mix some of these with some mica powders and just see what happens. So I'm going to use some purple and let's try this. This is a turquoise. And I have brushes that I use just for my mica powder. And I'm going to try to make do a couple of hearts. So I'm going to take this light blue and I'm going to dust it down into my put it on my design, and I'm not sure whether it's going to pick up I think what I'll do, and this is where I need my wet wipes. I thought I had some wet ones. I do. Nope, that's not them. I thought I had some wet ones that were here that I was using. But I think I'm going to wipe these off so that the mica that is in there is going to be down inside. And let me try the purple on the other side. I'm just going to mix these and just see what happens. I may try to blend them in the middle. Ooh, that's a lot of mica powder. That is Forever Violet. Just kind of blend it a little bit in the middle. Let me wipe some of that off. I can't tell because the turquoise is about the same color as the matte. I can't tell if I have any in there or not, so I'm just going to put some more just to be sure. And then I'm going to just take a towel and wipe it off. So that's going to be one. Let me get my little book out. I have a book that shows me the different colors because not all of these have their names on the jar. So I did this with my perfect pearls so I know what they are. What I did is I cut a square of white and a square of black, cut them in half, put a black and white together, and then I put each one of my mica powders on there so you could see what they look like on black and what they look like on white. Whoops. So I don't have all of them, but I do have those. And this one is number 7. No, it's not number 7, so it must be number 9. Mint. It's a pretty color. So I think I'm going to put some of this mint maybe on this section of this heart. It's hard to control the mica powder when you put it on here. Of course, I'm a little heavy-handed. And please understand that I'm just experimenting here. And let's see, do I have a pink? I have a blush. Let's put that in the center. And I don't want those to blend too much, so I'm just going to brush that off. And then I do believe I have a red. I'm going to do the outside in red and I'm just playing. I hope you realize that. I'm not sure how I'm going to use these yet. I probably should dab these on in the cap so I don't get too much on my brush. I think on this one I'm going to just put clear liquid clay on it. I don't know yet. It's just going to depend. If you have any sparkly mica powders, which I do have somewhere in here. Here's one that says, well, Perfect Gold. Let me see which one looks sparklier. I have Perfect Gold and Sunflower Sparkle. I think I'm going to use the Perfect Gold. And I'll do this whole heart in the Perfect Gold. Then I'll bake both of these together. And I'm going to have to pounce a little bit on this one. Actually, I think I have a pouncer. Where did I put my pouncer? Whoops. I put it in the wrong color. Good thing I didn't get it on my gold. I stuck it in the red. So pay attention to what you're doing, unlike what I just did. See, the pouncer gets it on there much nicer. Another thing that might work if you bought Tiny Pandora's Color Me tools, like the elephant, the Color Me elephant, and the heart, and the owl. They all come with a set of brushes that has a foam brush on it. And I'm sure that would work also. Okay, so let me just pounce because it's not getting down inside. And I know some of these are, so I don't want it to look lopsided. The good thing about these pouncers is you just wipe them off with a paper towel. And even though it's got color to it, you can see it doesn't color anything. So there's a gold heart. And what other color heart can we do? I wish y'all could speak to me. How about, let's see. I don't know what that one is. I think that's cappuccino. It doesn't have a number on it anymore. I just want something different on the fourth heart. How about a dark blue? I don't have a dark blue. And this is Forever Blue. And how about bronze? Perfect Bronze. And I'll do the same thing. I'm going to put blue in the center. It's got 3 different sections, but I'm not going to bother with 3 colors. I'm just going to do the blue in the center. And I'm going to blend these, see how they blend. Whoops, I dropped some from the top, which I should have dumped, but I didn't. And just wipe it off. Maybe I'll use copper. I'm thinking the bronze might not be dark enough for the dark blue, so I'm going to use copper. It's perfect copper. I love this color. And you see how it's going to be blending in together a little bit? That's what I want, is a little bit of blending. Some of this will be blown off. Put it over my trash can and give it a blow. Okay, so now I need to decide which ones I'm going to put on which. I think I'm going to put the pearl clay, the Sculpey pearl, on this one. Where did my card go? I'm sure I laid something on top of it. Oh, here it is. And I'm going to squeeze that in here. I didn't wipe this off with a cloth before I did this, which I should have. Okay, so I need a clean paper towel now. Okay, so I used the pearl in this one. I think I'm going to use the black. Use the black on the gold one. I thought I'd try all 4 and just see how they look with mica powders. I don't work with the liquid clays enough. I use the Kato a lot, but I use it as an adhesive or as a shiny finish. But I don't use it like I should to make things out of, so this will be interesting to see. Just want to make sure the clay gets down into all these little crevices. Okay, so I've used the black and the pearl. So let's use the gold on this one. I'm trying different patterns of spreading this liquid out to see which one works the best in getting coverage on these hearts. Okay, so that leaves this one for the clear. So I may not be doing this at all the same way Beth does it. We've been, like I said, we've been communicating back and forth on using these. And she sent me a couple of videos, so she's, you know, getting there as far as videos goes. So, all right, so we're going to put this in the oven with the other one, and we will see how this turns out, and I'll be back. Okay, let's see if I did this properly. Let's start with just the plain clay. This is the black Kato, which doesn't seem to be coming out very well. Matter of fact, it's crumbling. Let me go with the gold Sculpey. That came out pretty good, and it's flexible. So there's the gold Kato, that gold Sculpey. So I'm assuming this won't work either. No, the Kato just doesn't seem to be working well. Let's see. This is crumbling. And this is crumbling. So it looks like either I'm doing it too thinly, which is very possible. This is the pearl. So that looks really pretty. And I believe this is the pearl. So it looks like the Sculpey, and that broke, but it's probably because it was too thin. I just need to practice a little bit. It looks like the Sculpey is the better clay for doing these with. For some reason the Kato isn't working, which I find really strange. This is the Kato Clear, because Kato is usually a very strong clay. So that's the plain with nothing added to it. I just think these are so pretty. You put something like that together for a pair of earrings for the spring, except I don't wear earrings that big. So let's see here what happened here. This is the gold Sculpey with the three colors. I need something white to put these on. Let me get a piece of parchment paper. But there's the gold Sculpey with the red and the blue and the pink mica powders. That's kind of pretty. think you have to be careful with some of these finer designs. This is the pearl. Sorry, I was trying to make sure I didn't do anything to it. So this is the pearl on the turquoise and purple. And you see a little piece here that just it comes off pretty easily. But that's pretty. And I believe this is clear Kato, so I don't think this is going to work very well. Nope, it's crumbling. And the black is crumbling. So Kato is definitely not the way to go. Which is, it's a shame because I love Kato clay. So these are the ones that did work. It's not going to do any good to put white on white, is it? This one was a little bit too thin, and I felt like it probably was, but I did it anyway. But there you go. Let me give you a little bit of a closer look at these. But doesn't this look lacy? Doesn't that look like lace? And they're very, very thin. They're very flexible. So I'm going to have fun playing with these. But I've got some ideas I want to try, and I'm going to start with the Sculpey Clear. And I'm thinking what I want to do is color them. You notice I'm stirring this. When your liquid clay sits for a long time, or if you've just bought it from the store and it's been sitting in the store, then you probably want to stir it. You don't ever want to shake it. Shaking it just adds air to it. So just get you a little dowel or something. I keep dowels here. But I think I'm going to try adding some alcohol inks. And I've got two different colors. I don't know which color is going to be the best. So I'm going to try both. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit in here and a little bit in here. And I'm going to add mine are Pinata inks. This is lime green. And I'm just going to add a couple of drops. I like to color my liquid clay with alcohol inks because alcohol inks are really just transparent. So they don't change the clearness of your polymer clay. It just adds color. And this one is Rainforest Green. And I'm adding 2 drops, which may be too much. But I'm going to use this same little stirrer and just stir this up. To see if I can get a pretty leafy kind of green. And that's the Rainforest. And this is the lime green. Now, even though I'm stirring, you know, I have to stir quite a bit to get these colors mixed, I can look and see that there's bubbles forming. So I'm going to let this sit for a little while for the bubbles to pop. And then we'll go to work on it. But in the meantime, while these are, I'm going to put these up here. I'm also going to add some Born Pretty glitter mica. Now the Born Pretty is actually done for nails, and I have taken a piece of black clay and white clay and put them on here to see what it's going to look like. But of course what I'm going to be using is going to be green, so it's going to be a little bit different. But I think I'm going to take this green and let me find my little pouncer. Well, actually, I have some new ones. I'll just open my new ones. I got these pouncers at Michael's to use for something else, but they will work just great for this too. And I'm primarily right now going to work on the leaves, so I'm not going to worry about trying to paint different colors. I'll show you how to do different colors. But you can see this is a very glittery mica, and if nothing else, it will add some glitter. Hopefully it will add some green glitter. But we'll have to wait and see. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to just pounce over my design. I'm just trying to brush some of this off of the outside and into the design. And I'll do these on all of them. Probably should have gotten a bigger pouncer. But I bought this to use on silk screens, which works really well with silk screens. And I'm going to do all of these leaves, so I'm not going to make you stand here and watch me pounce. So I will pause the camera for a few minutes and let you see. Okay, I ended up getting out some of my Teresa Salgado tools. If you've ordered any of her Color Me tools, or kits rather, like I got the elephant and the heart, you'll see that they come with these brushes, and one of them has a foam tip, the other one is a brush, and it's an angled brush on that end, and then these little teeny tiny little, they're not really solid, but they're not really bristles either. I'm not sure what they are, but it's a wonderful little tool. So I use this, and you could, it's the same shape as maybe one of your eye color brushes. And then I use this to kind of just go through in places where it looked like it was clumped up in the veins. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do this hard, I'm going to have to take this off camera for a second, but I'm going to take this and kind of just tap it over my trash can just to get some of the loose glitter gone. Now the difference is on the large leaves I used the pouncer, my little sponge pouncer, and on the small leaves I used this. So I'm going to see which one I like the best. And let me get that out of the way. And let me look here and see. Looks like most of my bubbles are gone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use both of these. I'm going to just put a little bit in each flower. I'll put the rainforest green on these. And the lime green on these, which I probably should have done them the other way around since that's the way they were lined up. And we're just going to see how they do. I'm probably putting way too much clay on here, but I would rather have too much than not enough. And then you can use I used my AARP card, my expired card. But what I'm going to do is just kind of spread this liquid clay over the surface of the leaves using this. And if you have any other kind of little spreader that you want to use, feel free to use it. Just make sure that all of your little veins are filled in. And you'll have some left over on your card, so use that to spread if you need a little bit more. And mixing it up with using two different colors in one spreader, you're going to get a little bit of it mixed up. I actually need a little bit more of each color on these. Let me try doing it this way. And it doesn't hurt to have two color greens mixed in here. But just make sure your leaf is totally filled in. And if you want to just lightly go across the top, see how it's scraping off the excess? Go across the top. And you don't want to go too heavy. You just want to make sure you do it enough to get it off of your mat. Not that it'll hurt it, but it'll be the less that you'll have to clean up later. And if you have baby wipes, they work well, but I seem to be out of baby wipes. I thought I had some in my things downstairs, but I couldn't find them. Of course, a lot of my stuff is packed up in anticipation of my move. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in the oven. And this is oven safe. These mats, it says here on the top that it's good up to 350 degrees. And since the cooking temperature on this, I believe, is 275 to 300, which is what I use for my Primo anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven. I'm going to slide it on here so I don't bend it. And we'll see how this turns out when we get back. Alright, they baked for 30 minutes and they've cooled. Now let's see what my results are. Let me find a white piece of paper to put these on. I'll just put them on an index card. There's one. That's really pretty. And see, the thing I like about these is they're very flexible. So if you wanted to put them on a bottle that was rounded, they would fit very well because they're so flexible. So that is the one with the pouncer. I don't know if you can see the glitter. It's kind of faint, but it's pretty. And this would be the one with the little brush. Actually, they're both pretty. So let's try this one. This is the next. This one was the one with the pouncer. I'm trying to pull from the stem end. I don't know why, I just feel like that would be stronger. Aren't they pretty? And they shine and glitter so well. Again, this is with the pouncer. They're just like lace. They're very thin and just beautiful. Now, these are the ones that I have really had trouble with. So let me start with the big one. And I did break apart the little end here, but I think if I put that on something, I'd still be able to use it. These are just so fragile. Now, this one turned out good. This one is broken. Don't know why. I must have scraped off too much of the clay. This one broke. And I think you'll probably run into that on occasion, that you'll have some that won't turn out. But all in all, I think they're gorgeous. Here, let me get my piece of cardboard back out and get me a piece of parchment paper, just so you can see. I just love these. I'm trying. Earlier in the video, I mentioned Beth Sullivan, and she's doing these. She's the one that kind of inspired me to get started. And she, I guess by showing them on Facebook, has gotten an order for some. So that's another possibility. You may be able to get orders. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to try next. I'm going to do the heart ones again, and I'm going to use a little more detail in coloring these than I did before. So let me get set up for those, and I'll be right back. Alright, I decided to try the flower mat. This is called Flower Toppers. There's evidently another one that's just flowers. And I'm using these little applicators that I got from Tiny Pandora, because if you noticed when I did this before on the other molds, what is showing up here on the flat side, let me see if I can explain this to you. You've got the indentations on the mat, and then the rest of it is even with the top. And when you're scraping your clay off, it's going to take off all of the mica that's laying on top. That's not going to show. That's all going to be little holes. So I'm using this little applicator to make sure that this mica gets down in these little grooves. I don't know if I can get in close to where I'm working. I've got my clay sitting here, so I don't want it in my alcohol inks. But what I'm trying to do is just go down in these little crevices with the mica, because that's the part that's actually going to show when you peel these off. And these little tiny pointy things, like I said, they're not really brushes. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but they're great little applicator tools. The tip is a little bit bristly, like a bristle on a brush, but yet it's got some, it doesn't bend except on the very tip, so it makes it a good tool to get mica down inside of these molds. Of course, Teresa is really good at finding tools for us to use. So I know you don't need to watch me do this all over. The other one I'm going to pounce, and I'm going to see if there's going to be a difference, to see if it's worth spending this much time doing this. So when I finish with both of them, I'll be back. Okay, I've got my 4 flowers all glittered up. I don't know, yeah, I guess you can see a difference. This one is the one I did with the pouncer, and you can see the pouncer added a lot more glitter around the edges, whereas with the little brush I was able to control it. But it was quicker than this, of course. So this was kind of a combination of the two. I put some pink glitter on this one, and it's, I put it on with the pouncer and then went over it every so often with my little sponge applicator just to try to make sure that all this glitter was getting down inside those little grooves. Just like that. So now I'm going to add my clay, and I'm going to try to use a brush. This is what it's called burro brown, but it kind of looks like a deep purple, doesn't it? But I'm going to put that here in the center, and I'm placing it with a brush because I don't want it to be in with the yellow sunflower leaves. And I'll just put a little bit on top. Maybe that was too much. Just want to make sure it's going to be level with the top of these little bumps, I guess you call them. And let me do it on the other one. And there's a lot more glitter on the one that I pounced. I can see it mixing in with the clay. So that's another thing you might consider, is whether you want it mixed in with your liquid clay or not. I don't know if you can see the difference. See how the glitter is mixed in with this one? And it didn't seem to do that with the other one. And then I mixed up some yellow, and this is called Sunbright Yellow. And I'm going to put that out here where the petals are. Sounds like it's raining again here in Virginia. This has been the rainiest year I think I've ever remember, and I've lived in Virginia most all of my life. I'm just trying to make sure all these little grooves get filled in with the liquid clay, and I can see that the brown is beginning to kind of bleed into the yellow, but you know, I don't mind that. Kind of looks sort of natural. Of course, I'll go over it with the AARP card. To get all the excess off. I just want to make sure that I do get yellow down in where the yellow branches are supposed to be. Branches. Petals. I'm going to go over where the brown merged in just to kind of blend it a little bit so it doesn't look like it's a mistake. Looks like we did it intentionally. Let me go ahead and show you. There's no sense in you watching me do all this. I mixed up some of that brown with some red and came up with this nice color of red, and I'm going to put that on these two flowers. And because it's only one color, I don't have to put it, I can put that on like I did with the other things that I did where I can just spread it out. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, and I'll be back when I'm ready to put this in the oven. Okay, I'm just finishing up. I've got the clay. All distributed on in my mold. And in trying to clean up this bit here, I ended up touching the other flower, so I had to redo it, but I only had to redo the top layer. So I'm going to bake these in the oven, and I'm going to bake them for 30 minutes, and then we will see what we've got. Be back soon. Okay, this batch is out of the oven. I only did the one. I just can't imagine how this works. But with this one being a sunflower, I'm afraid to try to pull it out without going around it just because of the petals. I love these molds, and I understand they've got several. I got 3. Oh wow, look at that. Let me get me a piece of paper. Isn't that pretty? That's the sunflower, and let me pull out one of the others. There you go. I'm in love. I have no idea what I would ever use these for, but I just think this is the coolest thing. Alright, that one worked okay. But I just love those. So that's those, and here's the ones. Let me get them there on a piece of paper, and I've got something else over here. Then these are the ones I did with the green, tinting them green with the sparkle. And then these are the ones I did at the beginning. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of these things, and like I said, I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. And I wanted to show you, I went ahead and just scrubbed them off with some soap and warm dish soap and water, and everything came off fine. It's got a little bit of sparkle on it because I didn't do that one very well. But there you go. So I'm not going to do any more. There's more I could do. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the same molds and the same glitters. That sunflower is gorgeous. But I'm going to use the pearl clay instead of the white. Instead of the clear, I'm going to use the pearl. I think that's going to make, it'd probably be very similar, but just wanted to show this to you. It's not a finished project because I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but it is something I wanted you to see. So thanks so much, and I will be back again with another polymer clay tutorial. Bye-bye.